Have you ever felt the chill of the unknown, the eerie whisper of a ghostly presence? Our tale begins on the foreboding road of La Rumorosa, a truck driver racing against time, pushing his vehicle to the limits, desperate to reach Mexicali. His wife was on the brink of childbirth, and he bore the financial means for whatever might be needed. Yet, as fate would have it, he lost control on a dangerous bend, and his truck met an untimely end against the unforgiving rocks. Dazed and disoriented, the driver emerged from the wreckage, surprised to find himself unscathed. He waited, hoping for a kind soul to pass by and lend him aid, or at least a ride to the city. But for what seemed like an eternity, no one crossed the desolate hills. Exhausted, he succumbed to sleep, only to awaken to utter darkness. Confused and disoriented, he decided to walk. He walked and walked, certain that the exit to La Rumorosa was near. Yet in a twist of cruel irony, he found himself back at the scene of the accident. Days turned into nights, and still, the driver was nowhere to be found. His truck, however, was discovered 3 days later, a haunting reminder of the accident. But of the driver, there was no trace. His story might have ended there, fading into the realm of forgotten tales, if not for an encounter years later. A young trucker, heeding the call of a man on the road, would soon find himself entwined in the haunting tale of the missing driver. 3 days later, they found the truck, but there was no sign of the driver. Our tale of the unknown, of eerie whispers and ghostly presences, is only just beginning. As we dive deeper into the mystery, remember, the chill you feel may not be just the wind. It may be the touch of the otherworldly, reaching out from the shadows, inviting you to uncover the truth of the phantom trucker of La Rumorosa. Years later, a young man driving a truck on the same road has a chilling encounter. An older man flags him down, introducing himself as Francisco Vázquez. Francisco pleads with the young man, urgently explaining that he needs to get some money to his wife who is about to give birth. But his truck has broken down, and he can't leave it. The young man, sympathetic to the man's plight, readily agrees to help. Francisco hands him a piece of paper with his wife's name and address written on it. As they shake hands in parting, a shiver runs down the young man's spine. Francisco's hand is as cold as the grave. But he brushes off the eerie feeling, climbs back in his truck, and heads towards Mexicali with a sense of purpose. The icy touch of Francisco's hand lingers in his mind, but he doesn't think much of it. After all, it's a cold night, and Francisco has been stranded on the road for who knows how long. He focuses on the road ahead, the promise he made to this desperate man, and the strange, cold sensation slowly fades from his thoughts. He agreed to deliver the money, not realizing that he had just made a pact with a ghost. The next day, the young man set out to fulfill his promise. But a shocking revelation awaited him. He sought Francisco's wife throughout the city of Mexicali, but his search was fruitless. An old woman, guided by the address on the scrap of paper, finally led him to the right doorstep. Knocking gently, he waited. The door opened to reveal a woman, her years etched deeply into her face. "Are you the wife of Francisco Vázquez?" he asked. With a nod, she confirmed she was. He relayed the story, how Francisco had handed him the money on the desolate road for her. Her face paled, her eyes widened. "That can't be," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Francisco died 5 years ago." A chill ran down the young man's spine. He handed her the money, her grateful tears mixing with her shock. He left, his mind a whirl of confusion and fear. Back at his own home, he found Francisco, his ghostly form standing in the shadows. A cold dread filled him. "Thank you, my friend," the ghost's voice echoed before he faded into nothingness. He later found out that other men who had failed to complete Francisco's task had mysteriously withered away. So, what happens when you break a promise to a ghost? The answer remains shrouded in mystery, a chilling reminder of the enigmatic nature of the unknown.